You fought like an animal. You had an incredible drive. You came up short tonight. What, if anything, was surprising to you?
In fighting, survival is measured in moments. A single slip, a single choice can define a legacy. Dricus Du Plessis was not just a champion, he was a believer in his own myth. Unstoppable, unbreakable, untouchable. But on one fateful night against Khamzat Chimaev, he made one decision that shattered everything. What was that mistake? Why did it happen? And how did it hand victory to the one man who thrives on chaos? Tonight, we break it all down. Khamzat wasn't just another fighter. He was a predator disguised as a man. The kind who doesn't just fight to win, he fights to consume. Against him, hesitation is death. And that's where Dricus's myth began to crack. So, what was this fatal mistake? It was a belief, a myth that the entire MMA world, including Dricus's own team, had bought into. The myth was this: Khamzat Chimaev is a first-round monster. If you can just survive his initial storm, his cardio will fail, and he will crumble. The entire game plan was built around this one idea: survive. And for the first few minutes, the plan seemed to be in motion. Khamzat shot in immediately, just as everyone predicted. Dricus defended, he scrambled, he survived. But this is where the mistake reveals itself. The goal was never to just survive the takedown. The goal should have been to make Khamzat pay for it. Look closely at these early exchanges. Dricus is completely defensive. His entire energy is focused on getting back to his feet. There are no elbows. There are no short, punishing punches to the side of the head. He isn't trying to hurt Khamzat. He's just trying to wait out the clock. He was so focused on surviving the storm that he forgot to fight the storm itself. And at the end of the first round, the fatal error was already clear. Dricus had survived, but he hadn't made Khamzat respect him. He had only proven one thing to the monster: that he could take him down, and there would be no consequences. He gave Khamzat 5 minutes of free data, and it cost him the fight. Because Dricus didn't punish him in the first, Khamzat entered the second round with a dangerous new weapon, absolute confidence. He now knew he could get to Dricus's legs without paying a price. The takedowns became easier, more fluid, and on the ground, the survival mindset continued to poison Dricus's game. His goal wasn't to escape and create scrambles. It was to hold on, to stall, to run out the clock and hope for a stand-up. But you cannot stall a monster. You can only fight him. Khamzat wasn't just controlling, he was working. He was landing small shots, advancing position, and trapping Dricus in the dreaded crucifix, racking up damage and points. Even when they were on their feet, the damage from the first round was done. Dricus could never fully commit to his striking. He was always hesitant, always worried about the next takedown. He had allowed Khamzat to plant a seed of doubt in his mind, and that seed was now a forest. He was fighting a two-front war, one against Khamzat's hands, and one against the ghost of the takedown he knew was coming. By the championship rounds, the result was inevitable. The survival strategy had backfired catastrophically. Dricus hadn't just lost the rounds, he had lost the will. He had spent so much energy surviving that he had none left to win. The 50-44 scorecard wasn't just a measure of damage, it was a measure of Dricus's total inability to implement an offense. He was a king trapped in his own fortress, waiting for a siege that never ended. So, was the mistake believing Khamzat would get tired? That was just a symptom. The one fatal mistake was choosing to be the nail instead of the hammer. Dricus Du Plessis, a champion known for his aggression, chose to fight a passive fight. He chose to survive, not to conquer. It is the ultimate fighter's paradox. Sometimes, the safest strategy is the most dangerous one. By trying to avoid the storm, Dricus allowed himself to be drowned by it. He abandoned the very aggression that made him a champion, and in doing so, he gave up his crown without a real fight. He wasn't beaten by Khamzat's cardio, or his chin, or even his power. He was beaten by a myth, a flawed game plan born from a single, catastrophic miscalculation. He was beaten by the one mistake that cost him everything.